I sort of looked around one day and realized that I was just much less attached to stuff than I used to be, and that I was much happier than I used to be. And I came to realize that the two actually were very closely linked. Hey guys, in this video I want to talk to you a little bit about minimalism and my journey into less over more. So stay tuned. So definitely while I was at university and for a little bit thereafter graduating, I'd moved to London. I was sort of heading towards the standard like rat race view of things, if you will. Like I wanted this house in London and I wanted the good job and the nice clothes and I had this view of like how my life was going to turn out, and it was quite materialistic, and I sort of wanted it to be shiny, if you will, like in terms of the stuff that I had and the way that people saw me. I thought that those two things were like very closely linked. Like if I presented myself in the right way, like I could use possessions to like show the world something about myself, to like say something about who I was as a person. And I think when that started to change was I half quit, half got fired, not entirely sure, from a job with a charity I'd really wanted to work for, actually. Anyway, the job turned out not to be quite what it was advertised as, so I was horrible at it, as I could have told them if I'd have known. But anyway, half quit, half got fired from this job. And for once I had an unlimited amount of time and a bunch of money, because I was saving up to move out from my aunt's house where I was living at the time. And I was sort of faced with this choice. Anyway, met up with a friend, and a few drinks later, talking to him about his travels, I basically went home and booked flights to Asia. And I never thought that I would have the courage to travel solo. Like I just never thought that that would be something that I would be able to do. It felt like a really big leap for me, but somehow I realized that because it felt like a really big leap for me, it was a place of real growth for me. So I sort of leapt on it, and it was like a week later, I had to go to, I had some plans in the next week. So I think it was like a week or 10 days later, I was on a flight to Bangkok being like, okay, this is happening. And I had 3 months. So I had 3 months living out of a backpack, and I had a giant camping backpack of like 65 liters, and I had like a day pack just to sort of carry things around day to day. And 65 liters was like almost completely full. And I left thinking I needed all of this stuff. And then I got to Thailand very soon. I dropped maybe 25% of it, was like, yep, no, not gonna need this stuff. And then I met up with my uncle in Thailand, gave probably 25% to him to take back home, which was stuff that I thought that I still kind of needed, but definitely didn't need to travel with. And another 25% I just donated to the workers who were sort of living on his, like in his area. So, there was a load of Burmese workers who were in need of clothing and whatever. So anyway, in the space of like a week or two, I got rid of 75% of what I was carrying in that bag for the next 3 months. And I just realized that I just felt so much lighter not carrying all of that stuff. And 3 months, I mean, like it's a quarter of a year. You realize that you just don't need that much stuff. I wore the same few clothes. I just worried much less about how I was going to put myself together in the mornings and where all my stuff was. I always knew where everything was, and I was carrying it, and it felt light, and I was on the move, and there was just this sense of freedom to like not really having much stuff. Something in me had changed during that trip, and I would look at the amount of stuff I had I had not like a big wardrobe of stuff, but I got rid of the vast majority of my clothes. I decided to pretty much only wear black, white and grey. Had a really, really small wardrobe that I could pretty much get dressed in the dark, and everyone would always comment, oh, you always look really well put together and whatever. But it's more of a case of intention in the buying rather than the wearing, which just took so much, it gave me so much headspace back, not having to worry about that stuff. And the same happened with everything else, whether that was like toiletries and tech and books and whatever. Everything was just pared down to the least that it needed to be. And I used to find myself feeling overwhelmed sometimes, and a good friend of mine would say to me, we'd sort of take it in turns depending who was feeling stressed or overwhelmed, but the other one would say to the stressed one, when's the last time you had a clear out? Actually knowing the power of minimalism and the power of letting go of things, how much headspace things can take up, and how freeing letting go of stuff can be, and how the transformative effect that can have on your mental health. For me, one of the mind-blowing effects of minimalism is just the mental clarity that comes from not owning that much stuff, from just being free of being dragged down by possessions. It'll free up that headspace, it'll free up money or free up wardrobe space, but it'll also give you the ability to choose what you do buy much more intentionally. And this is another thing that I just really, really love about minimalism, that I can't buy a bazillion things that are like ethical and sustainable. You can't have this huge wardrobe unless you're made of money that avoids sweatshops and is made of sustainable materials and whatnot. But if you pick only a few things, you can get the best and the most ethical things that are going to last and that you're going to absolutely love. That's not to mention the other massive impact on my life and my mental health, which has been to get my finances in really good order. I've never been in huge amounts of debt, but I have managed to get from a situation where I was spending probably the amount that I was earning or ever so slightly more, to now where I am spending considerably less than I'm earning, and I'm putting the difference away. I think it's a very empowering thing, actually. I think it gives a sense of confidence and a feeling of like not really needing much. It's meant that it's given me a sense of self-reliance, that I can get through a lot of situations, and I'm sort of, rather than feeling like I need something for every eventuality, I can kind of think on my feet and I can figure things out. The other thing really is financially. You keep buying things, you can keep buying and keep buying, but all of that's money that you don't need to be spending on that. You could be spending that money on getting out of debt, your family, in any of these things that are more important. Fly halfway around the world to go and see your grandmother for her 100th birthday. Any of these things which you're really able to prioritize, which just wouldn't be possible if you were buying this, that, and the next thing. And I'm able to think about, rather than what can I have with the money I'm earning, like what do I want to do with the money I'm earning? I want to concentrate on learning more about filmmaking. I want to get tuition in salsa and Spanish and whatever, and I can invest more money into like growing who I am as a person, rather than growing this sort of how I want other people to see me, as that's not based in other stuff. It's just based on who I am on the inside. So I'd love to hear what your experience is with minimalism. Have you tried any of these things? What areas do you find that minimalism really helps in your life? Drop a comment below, I'd love to hear about it. Otherwise, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I will catch you later.